it is now time to learn how to solve equations that involve fractions, where some of the operations are addition and subtraction. I want you to remember this key idea before we dive into this problem and this one right here. The key idea is if you're solving an equation, your goal is to undo the operation being done to the variable so that you get the variable alone. Ignore the fact that we have a fraction to start. Let me show you what I mean. So here we have x minus 3/4 equals 5/9. I look at this problem and I'm literally visualizing it like this. So you could look at it as x minus some number equals some other number, right? So some number and some other number. I put a 1 there and a 2 there to see that it's number sub 1 and number sub 2, that they're different numbers. How do I undo minus a number? I add the number. So I know that I'm going to be adding that number, that's number 1, to that number 2 to undo minus a number. And that is the most important part of this video. The rest of it is just noticing that you already know how to do all the parts. We're just kind of putting them all together nice and neatly. So without further ado, let me show you that you already have everything required to solve that. So I want to undo minus 3/4. To do that, I'm going to add 3/4. So I add 3/4 to both sides. Don't worry about what 5/9 plus 3/4 is going to equal. Only pay attention to the fact that we want to undo minus 3/4, so we added 3/4. We know that those are opposite numbers and they will cancel out to give us 0. So what we're now left with is this problem. We've got that x is equal to 5/9 plus 3/4. That's the result that we have on the right-hand side of the equation. That's an old problem. So is this technically, so we're not really doing a new problem. We're putting together a bunch of old pieces that we can manage. So to add fractions, I now need to just focus on doing that. I need to find the least common denominator. Well, the least common denominator here is going to be 36 between 9 and 4. So I've got 36 as my common denominator. I look at this. To get to 36, I'd have to multiply the 9 by 4. So then I also need to multiply the 5 by 4. And 5 by 4 is 20. Then I need to, and here I'll show that work, why not? I multiplied the 9 by 4 and the 5 by 4. Here I need to multiply the 4 by 9 as well as the 3 by 9. Same thing to denominator and numerator. 9 times 3 is 27. What's left is a little easy simplification. My final answer would be x equals 47/36. For those of you that need to write that final answer as a mixed number, which is fine, eventually in math you won't have to, 36 goes into 47 once with 11 remaining. So 1 and 11/36. That's our answer. How would you check your answer? You could take the 47/36 and plug it in to see that you'll get 5/9. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the next problem and then I'll go back. And those of you that want to see how the answer is checked, you can watch the rest of the video. Those of you that don't want to see that, don't have to watch it, okay? Let's check out this next problem. X plus 1/6 equals 2/9. Again, focus on this problem much as we did here. I'm looking at this as x plus some question mark equals some number. Look at it that way. I want to get x alone. So I want to undo plus question mark. So I'd have to subtract question mark from each side. Not really worrying about what number this is or what number that is. I just know I need to subtract that junk. Okay, so let's use the same idea. I'm going to erase this idea here. There it goes. And I'm going to undo plus 1/6 by subtracting 1/6 from both sides. Or you could just say it as sides, normally. So I subtract 1/6 from plus 1/6. They end up equaling out to 0. What we wanted, we isolated x, and we're left with the subtraction problem of 2/9 minus 1/6. Great. So now all we have left to do is combine these two fractions by finding the least common denominator. All right, I'm going to do this part out mentally, but explain out what I'm doing. The least common denominator is 18. 9 and 6 both go into 18 evenly, and it's the smallest number they both go into. I would have had to have multiplied 9 by 2 to get 18, And so I'm gonna need to multiply 2 by 2, which is 4. I multiplied 6 by 3 to get 18, so I'm gonna have to multiply 1 by 3. What we're left with is the number 1/18, because 4 minus 3 is 1/18. And that's our answer. It's simple, y'all. When you do these problems, it's not about worrying about fractions. It's about saying, what do I do to get my variable alone? How do I undo the operation being done to that variable? Okay, you can stop watching the video at this point. What I'm about to do is go over a little bit of bonus coverage of how to check your answers to these equations. I think that it's a nice review of how to check answers, and it's really being done to just show you that we already know how to check answers. You just have to be patient with fractions. All right, so here we go. We're gonna check our answer. The original equation is x minus 3/4 equals 5/9. X was 47/36. What you do is you take this number and you insert it in for x and see if the equation is true. So 47/36 minus, and that's going to be, well, 3/4, just copying from the original problem. I don't know why I went is equal to 5/9. The question is that true? Well, here's what you do. The reason why I kept this as an improper fraction is it's easier to do the subtraction. So I look at this, I'm gonna move this up here. I'm going to convert 3/4 into 36ths. That'll be the common denominator between 4 and 36. So I will get 47/36 minus, looking at this, I'd have to multiply the 4 by 9 to get 36. So I'd have to multiply the 3 by 9. So I get 27. 47 minus 27 is 20/36. And what does 20/36 simplify to? The common factor, the greatest common factor is 5. So if I divide the numerator and denominator by 5, I will get 4/9. Ooh, it's not 5. Oh, what a mistake. It's a good thing I listen to myself when I do these problems. The greatest common factor of 20 and 36 is 4. Ooh. So if I divide top and bottom by 4, I'll get 5/9, which is the same answer. Wow. Even Mr. G has brain farts from every now and then, but we listen to what we're doing and we catch ourselves. So a little mistake there that I'm not gonna edit out because I want you to see how that thinking rolls in the real world. Okay, we'll do a check for this one as well. The original equation was x plus 1/6 equals 2/9. The x value is 1/18, so I'm going to insert 1/18 in for x, add 1/6 to it, and see if indeed do we get out 2/9. To verify this, I just need to combine these two terms with, again, the least common denominator, which is 18. So if my least common denominator is 18, I would need to multiply only that 6 by 3. So I need to multiply the numerator by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4/18. And what does 4/18 equal? When we reduce it by dividing by the greatest common factor of 2, I get 4 divided by 2 is 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. We know that we're right. So be a little patient, check your answers every now and again. It will make you a stronger fraction adder and subtractor. All right, that's it. That's what I got for you. A nice long video that will help you to learn how to solve equations, one-step equations with addition and subtraction of fractions.